Good evening, everyone, whenever you are. Steve Cunningham with Sensus Fidelium, coming at you about 6:06 on Monday afternoon. Somebody told me I should call it Blackpill Monday. If you want to, sure, fine. Well, happy Blackpill Monday to you, August 25th, 2025. Let's get right to it. There was a shoot. I'm in North Carolina. I went to school for a couple of years at the graduate school in South Carolina, and went to a sister school, USC Aiken, for a few years. And this happened today, I guess it was. And they thought there was a lockdown and a shooting. And here's the alleged shooter that Nancy Mace put out: white male, black shorts, gray t-shirt, black pack, and he's carrying an umbrella. And because of that, the place went on lockdown. People were losing their minds. Videos of people, thinking they saw the guy. I wonder what this dude was thinking at the time. Going, dum, 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 dum. I hope I'm early for class today. I wonder what everyone's going to be like. And then get arrested for carrying an umbrella, thinking that you were the shooter on campus. As Matt Walsh, really grateful for Nancy Mace. She bravely alerted the public to the dangers of a guy carrying an umbrella. This is why we need common sense umbrella control. And this is why people just need to chill out sometimes too. And here, this is talk about think locally. This literally was in our backyard just today. Belmont residents no longer asked to stay indoors following heavy police presence. Now, the funny thing I'm bringing this on is because as of now, 6 hours later, the local news has almost zero information on this. They actually reached out to me asking for an interview because I tagged them on Twitter with a map of where things were going down from another source on Facebook, and a video that one of the neighbors shot. And one of the local news goes, "Hey, would you like to do an interview with us?" I go, "No, I don't know what's going on. I sent this to you because you guys apparently have investigators that are supposed to be working the beat, and I figured this could help you." There was cops literally all over the place. There was cop cars everywhere. Word is that there was a shooter on the lake, which is about a quarter mile that way for us. I mean, we're not on it. There's properties way back there that are a driver 7 hours away. And he was apparently shooting at people on the bridge down the road. That's what we were told by a cop that was here. And we have nowhere to verify any of that. For 4 hours, there was helicopters all over the place, cops speeding up and down the road. You could see them through the window. Was not peaceful at all in this location. But again, I had a local video guy showing the. I'll see if I can pull that up. I'm sorry. While I'm bringing it up, I might as well just play that too. Hold on. Okay, here's where the helicopter was flying over. They were actually doing this in real time, so he was just doing figure eights all over the place. He flew into there, talk about a weird flight pattern, and then was just covering this whole area over here. And actually, here, if you see the one right here, that's the neighbor house that videoed the next one. And we live over and probably right around that area. See it, if the cursor is on view, you can see there, probably about an inch off into the black. And there's where they said the pontoon was beached. So they had no idea. They were trying to track all through the woods there. And they ended up closing this circled area down. They ended up getting people that live there to leave their homes because I guess they thought it was over there. These are expensive homes right there. I mean, we're in an old people's area. They are 1.4 million in that area. And this guy had a video. Will it play on here? We know him. This is our neighbor. Usually there's deer hanging out over behind there. 9 easily deer. And they were just going through the trail. There's a trail there. They were trying to get people to come off the trail so that they could figure out where the guy was. And they say that all we got was it's ended peacefully. Nobody knows what they have no clue what's going on. They're not even reported on the local news. So there was a cameraman when we passed to go to the park out by this restaurant where they had the headquarters for it, but they don't have a clue what's going on. It's kind of funny, I think. Also for here, Piedmont Lithium moves towards a $623 million merger, bringing mining companies' headquarters to Belmont. Again, that's what I'm Belmont. In Fremont, they're actually in downtown Belmont. I know exactly that building. But again, you heard about stuff like that during the hurricane. North Carolina farm family sells hundreds of acreage for data center. This Iredell County, by the way, Iredell is Governor Iredell. He was the first governor of North Carolina. He was very good back in the day, and they named Iredell just north of Charlotte. But don't think this is just happening in my neck of the woods. I guarantee this is happening everywhere. The Dallas-based company has filed rezoning plans with the city of Statesville to build a 5-building data center on the site, which is located off the Stanley Farm Road exit on Interstate 40. Comprises 8 parcels owned by the Stanley family and their land and farm-related companies, according to the Iredell County Public Records. Parcels assessed value of $3.4 million, including buildings and land. Thank you, them, for selling your land to people that are not good people. Yeah. As long as you made your money. Virginia Giuffre is to publish a memoir from beyond the grave. Prince Andrew's sex abuse accuser autobiography called Nobody's Girl is to hit shelves in a matter of weeks. I guarantee all you guys are already going on Amazon right now and hit the let me get that saved for when it comes out. It's a Epstein book. Donald Trump health fears as dark bruise spotted on president's hand. He looks terrible. The U.S. president has pictured with a bruise as he signed an executive order in the White House. This has been going on for a couple of weeks now. Let's see if I can get now. You can look it up. It's in the show notes and it's on other ways. U.S. government takes 10% stake in Intel as Trump expands control over private sector. We talked about this last week. And Thomas Massey brought up, because of Howard Lutnick that posted it, big news. These United States of America now owns 10% of Intel, one of our greatest American technology companies. And Massey goes, our government should not have ownership in any private companies. There are so many specific problems with an arrangement like that, but fundamentally, this is not who we are. And he had, well, there was a better one. I thought he had something else. Oh, here it is, beating communism by employing communism. Sounds like a great plan, because this guy, James, at some point, it becomes necessary when every other government is doing it too. So, it's kind of like that old thing, you jump off a bridge, you're going to jump after two. Yeah, that's a great idea. Trump rages that biased ABC, NBC should have licenses revoked, threat to democracy, which, that's what you're supposed to do when you're the elected monarch in chief, is go ahead and start violating everything in the Constitution that you swore to uphold and protect. By the way, Lincoln did that. And the party of Lincoln keeps on rolling. This is garbage. Conservatives slam Trump plan to jail American flag burners. Many conservatives were less than impressed by the executive order once and future King President Donald J. Trump signed on Monday, which he claimed would punish those who burned American flag with 1 year in prison or 1 year in the pokey. During the ceremony Oval Office, Trump remarked that, quote, what the penalty is going to be if you burn the flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing. And guarantee they'll arrest more people for burning the flag than anybody ever done in the Epstein case. You get 1 year in jail if you burn a flag, you get, and what it does is recite a riot. I hope they use that language. Incite a riot and you burn a flag. You get 1 year in jail, you don't get 10 years. You don't get 1 month, you get 1 year in jail. And it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stop immediately. It would be funny if 320 million people went out right now and burnt a flag. No, serious, that'd be hysterical. Would he try to imprison the entire continent? Addressing Supreme Court precedent that threw out previous bans on flag burning. The order, once a future King Donald J. Trump signed, says, notwithstanding the Supreme Court's ruling on First Amendment protections, the court has never, we don't care what the Supreme Court says. The court has never held that American flag desecration conducted in a manner that is likely to incite imminent lawless action or that is an action amount to fighting words is constitutionally protected. He's wrong, but who cares? He's king. I anticipate significantly more flag burnings in the weeks ahead. News Casey Maddox. That would, again, I think that'd just be hysterical. Jesse Kelly, I would never in a million years harm the American flag because it's a sacrament to the American religion. But a president telling me I can't has me as close to, however, to lighting one on fire. I am a free American citizen. If I ever feel like torching one, I will. It's, as somebody else posted, this is the most anti-American constitution, anti-American act than burning an American flag. Burning the American flag is a legal First Amendment protective act. I agree that is offensive, but we do not need safe spaces or coddling from the president, especially one who claims to stand for free speech, said Brad Palumbo. George H.W. Bush ran against flag burning in 1988 and spent a whole week campaigning on the issue. But he called for a constitutional amendment to ban the practice. He didn't pretend that he could ban it by an executive order that flies in the face of constitutional speech protection, says Brett Hume, before adding a "come on, man" for good measure. Neil Garner called the order brilliant, but conservative radio star Eric Erickson disagreed. This is actually not brilliant. While I agree with the sentiment, it is unfortunately well settled in constitutional law that burning the flag is a matter of free speech, and the executive does not get to create crimes. We are about to see a wave of flag burnings, and not one of those flag burners that would be found guilty of breaking the law. Christopher Scalia, you should be in no doubt that patriotic conservative that I am. I detest the burning of the nation's flag, but if I were king, I would make it a crime. If I were king, I would make it a crime. But as I understand the First Amendment, it guarantees the right to express contempt for the government, the Congress, and the Supreme Court, even the nation and the nation's flag. Justice Antonin Scalia, who wrote the American Enterprise Institute's Christopher Scalia, quoting his father. That's I was having actually had that next, and a lot of people were blasting it for it, which rightfully so. And Michael Knowles was all for it though. There it is right here. Robbie Stove, Antonin Scalia in defense of the right to burn the flag. I already wrote it. The arch conservative justice was part of a 5-4 decision in Texas v. Johnson that upheld flag burning as a protective First Amendment right. And the commandos prepping Mexico attacks. Trump's war on cartels is a godsend for the Special Ops Command with an identity crisis. They raided my house. Trump dodges when asked if more FBI raids on critics are coming. There's word is that he has a critic list, and now he's taking it out, which a lot of people have said this is his MO. Because obviously he went after Bolden, and we'll see what happens with others. Again, this is not exactly the way the executive president is supposed to be acting. I mean, I like to see him just, pee all over the place up there, because a lot of people act like it's another religion, and he's like the Pope for the United States. In a sense, that level. You look at the church and the anti-church, or the Catholic Church, and you look at the anti-church, the American religion. It's literally, they try to make it almost similar. We got coming up here Memorial Day. It's the American church idea of All Souls Day, the flag, almost like the Holy Cross. They put it up to that level. Snoop D-O G slams LGBTQT. Did I say that? LGBTQ plus representation in kids' film. Quote, they're putting it everywhere. Apparently he wanted to watch the Lightyear movie and was surprised that one of the characters had two moms. He basically just slammed the idea of that. They're like, she had a baby and another woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie is like, Papa Snoop. How she have a baby with a woman? She's a woman. And then he started, he was just upset about having to explain this and trying to watch a movie. Chicago leaders Chicago leaders denounced Pentagram's plans for military deployment in the city. City and state leaders pilloried the Trump administration for planning to home in on Chicago, the third most populous city in these United States, as the next target for military deployment in the name of addressing crime, immigration, and homelessness. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker said the state was not experiencing any emergency that would warrant a National Guard presence like the one the Pentagram has been considering. Instead, Pritzker said once a future king, President DJT was attempting to manufacture a crisis. Let's see what else here. Here's Nick Sorter. D.C. has gone 10 days without single homicide thanks to the president, once a future king, President DJT's crackdown on violent crime. During the same day period last year, there were 5 homicides in the district. And for some reasons, liberals hate it. This is just the fake left and the fake right stuff. There are 0.0 liberals going, we want people shot. We want people robbed. We want crime. Ain't nobody saying that. And again, if you look on the other side, when Brandon or Obama did it, you would have the fake right going, oh, we don't like that. And then the fake left would say, oh, conservatives want for this. No, they don't like the way you're doing it. They don't like the way you're going about it. That's what I don't like the way they're going about it. Nobody know that, well, there's a few people that are like it. I had a guy at the gym saying how great it was. And I brought up, which come up here later, Posse Comitatus. I go, that's a violation of it. He had no clue what that was. A lot of people don't know what that is. But speaking of that, there was also this. I forgot to bring this up. I had these stats of. That was yesterday morning, right before the cold front came through. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Trump signs off an $850 million arms deal. 3,350 extended range attack munition air launch missiles for Ukraine. Delivery in 6 weeks, mostly bankrolled by Europe. But Kiev can't fire without pentagram green light, says the Wall Street Journal. I forgot about this one. This is a really good one to watch. This is a big tech whistleblower, Aman Jabi, exposes the digital prison being constructed all around us under the guise of security, convenience, and sustainability. He says your devices at home and smart appliances are all monitoring everything all the time. When you leave your home, your automobile is being tracked all the time. They are tracking all the devices on you, your smartphones, smartwatches, when you're walking on the street. So data is being collected 24/7 continuously on every human being. The plan is pretty much locked up. The plan is to pretty much lock up humanity in smart cities, which is kind of a superset of a 15-minute city. Air monitoring is really about limiting mobility and no car ownership. Water management is about water rationing. Noise pollution is about speech surveillance. Traffic monitoring is about limiting mobility. Energy conservation is about rationing heat, electricity, and gasoline. Another concept that one should be familiar is called geofencing. We talked about this before. Think of it as an invisible fence around you where you cannot go beyond a certain point. And that will be related to your facial recognition, digital identity, and access control. Software can turn off your digital currency beyond a certain point from your house. Again, if you think that you're just being Catholic this doesn't bother you, if you drive more than 15 minutes away to go to a mass, this could be an issue for you. Our world is being turned into a digital panopticon. It's a much-watched documentary. The Agenda, Their Voice, and Your Future at Oracle Films, UK. You should watch it. And let's see if there it is right there. There's a YouTube thing. I'll go ahead and click that have it saved so I can watch. It's a 2-hour film. Let's see. But what I really wanted. Oh, yeah, here's Alex Jones saying, I'm all for removing the Venezuelan dictatorship. Sellout. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here's one. U.S. Capitol Police and ICE arrest billboard truck driver protesting the Gaza famine. The driver was arrested and the truck was towed near NBC office at 400 North Capitol Street, Northwest, south of the 4-week media encampment of Gaza. Free speech. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Mar-a-Lago. Botox, visible face fillers. and exaggerated face tans compromise the aesthetic popular among DJT's entourage. Where is the thing? So that. I had. Was it part of the year? No. I showed you the war on meat thing last week. What I'm looking for is the stat. I guess this is the best we can get. Asked why Trump chose D.C. for his lawless crackdown with the National Guard. He says it's out of control crime. Actually, crime is down 26% over last year, and that's a 30-year low. Where are the highest violent crime cities? Here's the top 10. Memphis, St. Louis, Detroit, Oakland, Baltimore, Little Rock, Cleveland, Birmingham, Kansas City, and Milwaukee. And none of that, nothing's going on in any of those except for they're just talking about Baltimore. That's it. Here's Fox News. Trump's D.C. crackdown is extremely successful, U.S. Marshal Service director says. Why I brought that up, one mention of that was, it just showed it, the gun grab, then firearm seized, 91. So obviously the Second Amendment in D.C. matters nothing. Who are these people? What did they do? Were they here legally? Were they here illegally? Did the guy that had the gun need it? And this guy on the left says, imagine how many lives were saved by grabbing 100 guns from people. Okay, well, what if they needed it to defend themselves? All right. Again, this is just softball questions that threw. Extremely successful compared to what? What's your ruler for saying this works, this doesn't work? Peace and all that stuff. They don't. They just say things without any background or any stats to back anything up. They just give you a number. But by the way, don't forget, because you have to trust the government, trust the media. Doge saved us what, a couple $100 million? Hey, what about those $5,000 Doge checks? Remember that coming out? Oh, the IRS is supposed to shut down. No, they're actually building more people in red. USAID shut down. No, they moved it over. Rubio's taking over that. Condoms in Gaza. Oh, that was Gaza in Africa. You know, they lie. Anytime their mouths are moving, they're lying to you. All right, here's Posse Comitatus Act, 18 U.S.C. Section, paragraph 1385, the U.S. federal law enacted in 1878 that prohibits the willful use of federal military forces like the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, or Space Force to enforce domestic laws, especially except when authorized by the Constitution or Congress. It stems from post-Civil War efforts to limit military role in civilian affairs post-Reconstruction because of how awful Reconstruction was. Exceptions include the Insurrection Act for cases like suppressing rebellions. So there's one loophole. They're going to say, it's an insurrection. Where's the Insurrection Act? So if you hear anybody bring up what's going on, know what Posse Comitatus is. Most people do not know what that is. Now, there's a loophole they are using. Here's one of it. Hegseth authorizes guard troops in D.C. to carry weapons. It brings up one of the things. Where is it at in here? Legal experts have long warned about the president's might use Title 32 as a kind of legal loophole to Posse Comitatus, which is supposed to prevent the president from using the military as a domestic police force. Under Title 32, a president pays for a guard mission while keeping troops under control of the governors. In this case, Trump asked red state governors to send their troops to D.C., and the lackeys did. South Carolina, Louisiana. Who else went out and said, is it Ohio did it? There's about 5 or 6 states that did it. While those governors technically retain control of the troops because they are the commander-in-chiefs of the National Guard of their state, their missions are being decided by the White House, according to several administration officials. In a visit to the Guard personnel on Thursday, once the future king president of DJT suggested the military personnel would be playing a larger role in law enforcement in the city. So again, he can't ask the Army, military, the Army, Marines, Navy, etc., but he can get around it by saying the National Guard's being come in or voluntarily come in by the governors, but then roll it on underneath the thing. Basically lying through their teeth about who's in control, and again, loophole. Unconstitutional here. Posse Comitatus Act was passed in 1878, primarily to prevent the U.S. from being used as a police force in the South during the following the Reconstruction era. That was when it was pretty much a terrorist attack on the South. There's a book by the Kennedy brothers. Go to KennedyTwins.com. It's on Reconstruction. It's horrifying what happened. During Reconstruction, the military had been used to maintain order and enforce federal laws, force their will on the former Confederate states, a situation many Americans, particularly in the South, found undesirable. They were starving them to death. There's an ethnic cleansing in the South. The act aimed to restrict the use of federal troops and domestic law enforcement, ensuring states retain control over their own law and order. Some National Guard units in Washington are now carrying firearms in escalation of Trump deployment. And they're going to show, them at the park, and maybe they'll do it on the swings down the road. Anything to make it look normal. Trump's National Guard plot is an Obama-era conspiracy. This was from 2017. The reason why it's on here is people were saying this about Barack Hussein Obama. And I guarantee the cheerleaders today were upset about what he was threatening to do back then. But now it's okay when MAGA does it. Again, have some principle. It's bad then, it's bad now. Can't just say, oh, no, it's good because my guy does it. Cars are so expensive that buyers need 7-year loans. They make monthly payments manageable, but add thousands to the car's total cost. AI is booming, so are household electricity bills. Demand from data centers is straining America's biggest energy grid, and consumers are paying a steep price. From the Wall Street Journal, booze, and one epic meltdown. The night the U.S. Open lost its mind. Russian tennis star Medvedev raged at the U.S. Open umpire Sunday night. Then the entire crowd joined in too. I have no idea what's going on here. Apparently won the match. I figured they'd have video or something. Every time I went to the line to serve, everyone was booing. I felt like I couldn't do anything bad in the match to receive his treatment. I didn't do anything bad in the match to receive this treatment. When the crowd began booing the umpire's decision, it seemed that not Medvedev's response. He took advantage of the opportunity time and again as Bonzi got ready to serve. Medvedev lifted his arms and the fans were at full throttle. Bonzi stepped away from the service line until the noise quieted and then stepped back up. It got even louder than before. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, tennis is not supposed to be like that. Venezuela sends 15,000 troops to border as U.S. warships approach. And what's going to happen is they're going to get Venezuela to do something like fire upon them, and then they're going to blow them out of the water. And they say, oh, look, they fired first. No matter if we poke the bears, kind of like that one guy that talked about, we just do whatever needs to be done to be able to set these guys off, and we're in the war. False flag, basically. Chinese companies buying up land across New Hampshire under scrutiny. Think locally, act locally, people in New Hampshire. Trump says he'll allow 600,000 Chinese students in the U.S. because, it's just the bad guys that we don't like, except for the guys that are like that work for me, that we just want to get rid of. Why the White House thinks Ford Mustangs can fix ISIS recruitment crisis. When traditional job perks fail, sometimes you need horsepower to get people in the door. Dude, they're going to do like Texas University and all that. Give away a car for them to come to the university. Florida cops turn traffic stops into deportations. A ride-along shows how the state's police force has become integrated into federal government's enforcement efforts. You are here illegally. Loved ones shocked, worried after beloved Utah violinist detained. I knew I could figure that word out. Detained by ICE. Let's see. This is according to reports from Newsweek and King 5. Mohammed Zahid Chaudhry was detained by ICE due to a 1996 fraud conviction in Australia and misrepresentations on his U.S. visa and police applications, leading to a prior deportation proceedings as of August 24th, 2025. He remains in custody in a Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma with no confirmed release. This is ICE detains husband, a Democratic conventional candidate who is also a disabled U.S. Army veteran. He is wheelchair bound after suffering severe injury during training for deployment in Iraq. Agents arrested him at his naturalization hearing. He's already green card holder who has been living legally in the U.S. for over 25 years. He has multiple medals for his service: Army Service Ribbon, Global War on Terrorism, Service Medal, Armed Forces Reserve Medal, Reserve Achievement Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Recruitment Achievement Medal, Army Strength Management Award. And they arrested him. FEMA to send states $608 million to build migrant detention center. And that's most of the money for FEMA. So if anything's gone, anything happens in the next couple of months, like a hurricane or something, they have no money. A pig lung transplanted into human for first time. Yay! Breakthrough could pave the way for organs on demand for patients on the donor waiting list. It's now twice so expensive to buy an entry-level home than rent. We went over this a week ago or something like that. But yeah, it's way more expensive to get a home than rent. And is kind of funny clip of the day, kind of a good news. It's not really good news because you should probably eat a bag of popcorn like this, and the internet's not working. There's no chance you had a better day than this kid. This kid just goes to town on a bag of popcorn at a Brewers game. I guess it's kind of funny. There's a Coors Light bottle, right? Can right next to him. So anyway, appreciate you guys coming in again. If you anything you looked at, it's underneath in the show notes. Go down underneath, email me or text me or comment if you need a link or something that you don't see. I'll be happy to find it for you. Just make sure I'm looking at it. Ashton, appreciate the comment, man. Yeah, trying to get the stuff that no one else really wants to talk about into this to see if Catholics can get involved. And they don't hear, all you hear about is how great everything's going in D.C. or we love this guy. I'm not looking to get invited down to Mar-a-Lago. I don't care about going to Mar-a-Lago. I just want to get the truth out there. Anyways, God love you guys. Have a great rest of the day. I think it's time for me to eat dinner with the fam. Thank you as always. Check out sensusfidelium.tv for the app. There was something else I was going to say, but I'll figure it out maybe 1 o'clock in the morning when my kid wakes up and I have to go get him. Anyway, God bless you. Have a great rest of the night.